Hi, it's Savannah Ogwin from Savannah Land 2. Today I'm sharing a fun and easy favor and game for parties using paper smooches, dies, and stamps. Last year my mom and I created some ScratchOff Lotto tickets for my aunt's baby shower. I've always had this idea in the back of my mind just in case I needed some more to make. And now I have several friends who are pregnant, and these ScratchOff Lotto tickets will be perfect for their parties. To create your Lotto ticket, you will need acrylic paint. I'm using silver metallic paint, any dish soap, a small paintbrush, clear vinyl, and literally any paper smooches stamp set or die. For this first example, I will be using Paper Smooches Pipsqueak set with several different images. And I'm also using this medium-sized oval die. So to get started, you need to create a Lotto ticket. I designed mine in a Word document on my computer and then printed several sheets. Now this is a great opportunity to get real creative with your wording and use of Paper Smooches stamps. I knew I wanted to use the sentiment, "Who has my bottle?" So I looked in my stamp set and I found that Pipsqueak had the perfect little bottle and baby image. And then, normally you have one winner and all the rest are loser tickets. So look how many different images you can use for this ticket game. This set was perfect. So after I've created my ticket design, I'm going to stamp my image on my ticket. And all I did was I stamped the baby and then I paired those images up next to him. And I wanted them fairly close so that when you scratch off that section, it looks like he's holding it or it's really near him. So that's where I placed my images. Now, once I've stamped it, I also sprayed it with some workable fixative. This is really good because it protects your ink and your paper so that nothing smears when you're coloring it in or if you wipe it. So I always spray my images with that, and that's what I did here because the next step was to color the baby. And all I did to color him was use a watercolor pencil and then a water brush. And to help the smearing, I sprayed it, and it worked really well. And because these are going to be thrown away by the guest, I didn't put much effort into it. They're not as fancy as I normally get. And so I also put a scrap piece of pattern paper behind the ticket to make it pop a little bit. So now that we have our ticket created, we want to cover the part of the image that's going to be scratched off. Now I did this by die cutting some clear vinyl using that medium-sized oval. And I have this smaller oval here too because it actually would have worked to cover up the bottle with that. But when I pull up all the images from this stamp set, most of them can be covered with this small oval, but you'll see this one couldn't be covered. And just part of this one hangs out whenever it's underneath the smaller one, so that's why I used a larger oval. So I die cut the medium-sized oval, and all I'm going to do is place it right over the image that I want to have scratched off. So I'm going to place it right over there. You can see that it's covering most of that image and part of the baby as well. Now we need to create the mixture of paint using 2 parts acrylic paint and 1 part soap. Let me pull my tab out of here. And you don't need a lot, 2 1/2. You don't need a lot because a little goes a long way. Once you pour your parts, you're going to stir it up, and it's okay if it makes bubbles. And then you're just going to apply it to your ticket. Now the way I apply it is in a dabbing motion. But you can also paint it on. This is going to give a thinner layer, so you're going to want to apply lots of layers once it dries. That's why I dab it. And for this oval, all I did was I did do a paint line and then dab the center. That way I knew exactly where I was going with all my paint. Now once you've filled that in, all you have to do is wait. It takes about an hour to dry, but you can also let it dry overnight. Let me show you my examples again. Here's what they look like when you're finished. And this is an example of what it looks like whenever you scratch it off. I ended up making this one the scratch off example because I accidentally dripped the paint. Now I've got a couple more tips and examples to show you. My first tip is that you can cover your image using a crayon instead of clear vinyl. For this tag that I made for my dad using the Paper Smooches boob tube set, I wanted to put a sediment inside this TV screen, but there wasn't a die cut that would cut this little screen out perfectly from vinyl. So what I did was, here's an example, I stamped the TV and then I stamped the sediment, and all I did was I took a white crayon and I covered this entire screen area with it. Now make sure you put a nice layer of crayon on there. Because that's what's going to protect your image when you're scratching it off. Then you're going to wipe away those wax pieces from the crayon. And then you're going to cover it with the paint mixture using a dabbing motion. So if you don't have clear vinyl and you do have a white crayon, this is a great way to make a lotto ticket. Now I got some off, so let me fix it real quick. There we go. And then we just let it sit and dry. Now you can also use different colored paints. Let me clear my area. Let him dry. On this example that I did last night, I compared a couple of different paints. Now here are some that I had in the house. I had some pale colors and then some neons. I used the mint as my example, and I compared crayon, clear vinyl, double colors, and then I also, these two, I let them dry overnight. So let's look at this a little bit closer. The top is all crayon and the bottom's all vinyl, and really they both scratched off fairly easy. I did mess up over on this one, so he doesn't count. But these really came off nicely. Now I did notice that the bottom one had a bit of mint residue afterwards, but that's because my next tip is for you is to stir your paint before you use it. I forgot to stir this, and I forgot to shake it up, so it was really clumpy, and you can tell right here this leftover paint is really clumpy. So make sure you stir it up. You can make lotto tickets for lots of different parties and occasions. Here are a couple of ideas. I said earlier that you can make them for baby showers, but you can also make them for wedding showers. Here's the hubby and wifey stamp set, and there's also a die set called wedding shower dies, and it would be really cute if you use these for a wedding shower. One idea is that you could use this cake and put the topper birds on top, and whoever has those would be the winner. You could also make these for kids as a reward for when they accomplish a task, a chore, or pass a test. What you could do is also use these as encouragement. So I die cut this out, I fussy cut it out actually, and it would be really awesome to put this on a test with double-sided tape in the scratch off here, and then they would scratch off and see what they got on their test, or a fun little encouragement word from you saying you really improved on this essay or whatever you were teaching at the time. And for this set, this is Teen Routine, you could use the iPad or cell phone. It would be super cute for the kid to get a text through a Lotto ticket that said great job or A+ or whatever. And you can also use them for Valentine's Day. There are lots of different stamp sets from Paper Smooches that would be perfect for your husband, friends, or even for your children to make for their classmates. And finally, I thought it would be great if you could use these for a New Year's Eve party. Imagine this is your ticket. This is the new Paper Smooches Digits set. And what you would do is, this is your pattern paper, this is your white Lotto ticket. You could put your sentiment question up here, or part of a song lyric, whatever your theme is. And then down below, here's your clear vinyl. And underneath it, you could stamp different years, like 2013, 2014, 1985, 2055, whatever, and then whoever got the correct year would win. That would be super fun for a New Year's Eve party. I hope that you will make some of these scratch-off tickets for your next party, or to encourage your child, or even to share with a family member on a special occasion. Please leave a link to your creation below. I'd love to see it. Thanks so much for watching.